Hello, I'm Jackson Anderson, and during the 14th and 15th century, there was a time known as the Late Byzantine, and I'll be going over paintings and art styles that were made in that era. Okay, so the first piece I'm going to go over is Anastasis. This piece is possibly the best fresco in the Late Byzantine. It's located in the Church of Christ in the Chora in Constantinople. This piece is central to a cycle of paintings portraying the themes of human morality, mortality, and redemption of Christ. In the painting, Christ is trampling Satan, and Adam and Eve are freed from hell. The onlookers are John the Baptist, King David, and King Solomon on the left. Christ is reaching out to a prophet like Adam and matronly Eve. In the picture shown here, you can clearly see how all the figures are depicted and how Christ is truly the center point of the piece. Byzantine artists often chose to paint spiritual worlds instead of the material world because the spiritual world do not change like the world around us, as a lot of people may know. This helps link paintings from many different periods. In late Byzantine, icon paintings also showed Byzantine spiritually. They were devotional pieces that were being produced in Constantinople, just like the piece I previously discussed, as well as being made in the diminished Byzantine Empire. A great example of an icon painting is the Orate of Christ. It uses finely etched silver foil to frame the figure of Christ. The piece is also a good example of the combination of styles, where one shows a fully modeled head of Christ and has specific folds on Christ's clothes that make it look like the clothes are just placed in front of the figure. In the picture, you can clearly see the two different styles by how the background is completely different from the figure. Late Byzantine icons also had paintings on two sides, so they would use the front and the back. So when a clergy would buy the icons, they wouldn't just put them up against a wall like a normal painting, but they would exhibit them on stands so that both sides were visible for onlookers. Like I said, iconic pieces have two sides, front and a back, and so of course the Orate of Christ has a backside. And so the counterpart of the piece was Virgin Mary, and on the piece the angel Gabriel announces that Mary will be the Mother of God. She gestures that she is astonished, and the gestures in the piece are conventional, as are the simplified architectural props. In the picture here, you can see how simplistic the gestures are depicted. Varying from these icons, the three-dimensional forms were placed in front of a golden sky, suggesting the sacred place where the narrative unfolds. These varying styles show the diversity of late Byzantine art and architecture. Byzantine truly was a huge stepping stone in quality and, of course, uniqueness in the art world, and inspired many other countries and periods to follow. At the same time as all these pieces were being made, Russia was flourishing in iconic pieces as well. One of the greatest pieces made in Russia was made by someone named Andrei Rublev. It depicted three angels that appeared to Abraham. Though faded, it once had extremely vivid colors and subtle lines. The angels sit up on a table and all have halos behind their heads. All three are nearly identical, except for their clothes. Their clothes are very vibrant, which offsets the tranquility of the piece. Looking at the picture, you can truly see the contrast in the angels' clothes and the colors used for the rest of the piece. Like all else, all good things must come to an end, and with the conquering of Constantinople, Russia practically inherited the Byzantine style. This was the end of a magnificent era where many pieces of artwork and art styles were exhibited. It was one of the greatest eras in all of history. However, it is extremely interesting to know that all of this had to come to an end for history to end up how it is today. Despite a great era ending, It was needed for all the amazing art pieces made after this period to be made. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.